Fox News alert now, the Biden administration confirming it is holding back a shipment of 3,500 bombs to Israel over concerns that the weapons could be used in the invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. Today, CIA Director Bill Burns and the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu are reportedly set to hold meetings in Jerusalem as the U.S. looks to help broker a hostage deal and cease fire. Let's bring in Republican Congress Conference Chair Elise. She sits on the House Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman, I never thought we'd come to a point where Israel would be at war and we're holding back weapons. How did we get here?
It's absurd, Brian, and it's just another example where President Joe Biden has failed to support our most precious ally, Israel. Congress passed supplemental funding and military aid to Israel, and it is outrageous and is not complying with congressional intent, the fact that the Biden administration is holding these back. This is as Israel is, suffered its bloodiest day since the Holocaust with the terrorist attack on October 7th. They're fighting for their very existence. So House Republicans are pushing back, both in our oversight capacity, as well as conversations between the Speaker of the House and the President of the United States about how this is absolutely unacceptable.
But what's weird is that none of these bombs would be used in a place like Rafah. They're 2,000-pound bombs, 1,700, 500-pound bombs. That's not what they're using in Rafah. This is what they would use against Hezbollah.
Correct. And it just goes to show that the Biden administration and Joe Biden himself have failed to support Israel. They're more concerned about their pro-Hamas wing of the Democrat Party, which we're seeing is part of the radicalized left. And it's a stark contrast with Republicans who strongly support Israel. And we are going to continue to take that stance. We, again, remember, brought that Israel aid package to the floor multiple times as the Democrat support cratered. So this is one of the reasons why President Trump continues to pull stronger and stronger, because Joe Biden exudes weakness on the world stage, and he's turning his back on our most important ally in the region, Israel.
Which is crazy. Can you guys do anything about this? Because Israel should have one focus, wiping out Hamas. Any civilian that dies, it's on Hamas. That's not just me saying that. Senator Fetterman has said that, who happens to be a Democrat, according to last reports. So I'm wondering, why doesn't the president ever say, if we leave the remnants of Hamas there, it's going to be just 18 months, if not earlier, before we have another October 7th? That should be the objective.
It should be the objective, Brian, but, this administration, whether it's from the press podium at the White House or the president himself, they have failed to explicitly condemn Hamas. They have failed to call out the fact that Hamas uses civilian shields, and it's a way of their terrorist tactics. That's why they need to be defeated. That's why it's important for us as the United States to stand with Israel. And it was a very solemn moment this past weekend when you heard at the Holocaust Remembrance Ceremony at Yad Vashem, Prime Minister Netanyahu said if Israel has to stand alone, they will. As the United States of America, we should never allow Israel to stand alone. America must stand with Israel.
All three leaders, whether it's Netanyahu, Benny Gantz, or Lapid, they all have no problem with the way their sports being conducted. So if they think Netanyahu's the problem, that dog won't hunt. I want to bring it to the other disturbing thing that's happening, the series of protests in over 27 states on about 80 campuses, and that is the civil unrest that we're seeing, the destruction of property and the encampments. You brought up a great question. Are we actually going to forgive the loans, you told to the Secretary of Education, of those who are defiling property and security? Listen.
The students who are being anti-Semitic, do you want to have the taxpayers pay their loans off?
I believe that students who are breaking the law and are disrupting the educational environment should be held to account.
Will you commit to ensuring that no student has harassed other students or prevented other students from going to class or broken laws receives any form of student loan forgiveness?
We are committed to making sure that campuses are safe.
Is that a good enough answer?
No, it's not a good enough answer, but great question by Chairwoman Virginia Fox, chair of the Education Committee, and it just shows that U.S. taxpayer dollars are being abused to prop up not only these institutions, but paying student loans of these pro-Hamas terrorists. And we should not forgive those student loans. We need to defund these universities that are apologists for pro-Hamas, that support these pro-terrorist professors, and turn a blind eye to these terrorist anti-Semitic students, some of whom are are on student visas, those visas need to be revoked. That is why we've expanded our House investigation. So it's going after the appropriations. That would be the funding, going after the visas for the student visas, revoking those immediately, going after the tax-exempt status of these universities. This is a failure of moral leadership, a failure of moral clarity, and we will continue to lead to call this out and hold these schools accountable, which is why this week, for example, we have two very important hearings. One will have the D.C. mayor, Mayor Bowser, for the failure of her she didn't allow the law enforcement to clear the encampment until last night at GW in preparation for the hearing today.
Yeah, you notice the timing, Matt. The timing is coincidental, right?
Exactly. But that shows the importance of these congressional hearings, because they will not do the right thing until we hold them accountable.
Right. And that's why your hearings are so important. That's why your majority in the House is so vital.
Yes.
Congresswoman, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.